I want to do a little bit of a different kind of video today. Not exactly sure what it's going to look like, but one thing I wanted to start doing here on the channel was start to document the process a little bit more. As some of you may or may not know, if this is your first time on the channel, I recently started a new company. It's a software company called RepSelect, where we help business owners find sales reps, remote sales reps in particular, to hire for their jobs, and vice versa. Remote sales reps jump on there to find jobs as well. It's been going really well. It's been really good. It's been exciting to grow. It's been awesome to see the people landing jobs. It's been awesome to see the software working. And, I have a lot of aspirations for the company. I have a lot of things that we still need to work on to see it grow. And I'm really looking forward to its growth. And I wanted to start to document the process as I grow it. That, and also in the personal life, I've been going through a bit of a fitness journey over the last, I'd say about 4 months or so. I've lost a decent amount of weight. I've been around 277 to 280. I think that was my highest. Right now, clocking in at 238, 240. So I've lost almost 40 pounds over the last few months. And the goal is to lose at least another 40. So, I've been making some really, really good strides, both in the business and in the personal life. And I just decided I wanted to start documenting it because YouTube is something that I've been meaning to just get back into, just start uploading again consistently. And with all the things that I'm doing, not only with the software, but with the sales community and, some of the business owners that I work with on the coaching side of things, just haven't had the time to sit down and film a ton of videos. And the quickest cadence I've really been able to do has been like once a week, but I really don't want to upload once a week. I want to upload more often than that. I want to really get back into, posting on this channel. And, just thinking about it, it hit me. I don't know if it was God and the Holy Spirit inspired or whatnot, but I've been searching for direction on what to do, where to take the channel for a while. And I think that this was something that really just hit me to start doing, because I think it solves the bottleneck of finding the time to sit down and film tons of videos. And also, being able to talk about multiple different topics throughout the day and what I wanted to get across to you guys and the value I wanted to bring to this channel. So, and, this is just something that I think it's going to be awesome to be able to look back on over the years and look back and see the growth and see what ended up happening with the company and everything else. So I'm super excited to start documenting a little bit more. If that's something you guys want to see, would love to hear your thoughts. But hey, this is something I'm doing now. So right now it is first thing in the morning. It is about 6:58, 7 a.m. And this is usually around the time I get up, anywhere between 6 to 7 o'clock. Try to keep it as close to 6 as possible, but obviously that doesn't always happen. Today is Wednesday, and I guess what I'll do for this video is I'll take you guys, just come along with me for a typical day so you can see what I've been doing to grow this new company, as well as get my fitness in check at the same time. Let's jump in. So the very first thing I usually do is make like a little bit of an energy drink. I gotta get my creatine in here. I mix in a little bit of pre-workout, and then I have this NRC vitamin powder that's got like a bunch of good vitamins like vitamin C, vitamin E, vitamin B, calcium, magnesium, zinc, all that good stuff that I throw in there. I've been on a big calorie deficit. So one thing I wanted to make sure was that I'm still getting enough vitamins and minerals and all that stuff. So I like to throw this in my morning drink. Gives me a little bit of energy, gets me kicked off for the day. And I'm going to be hitting the gym in about an hour. So I'm going to be drinking this, not chugging it, but just kind of slowly drinking it throughout the next hour as I get ready to head out to the gym. This is a new one that I'm trying out, and personally, I actually don't like the taste of it. Kind of sucks. At least for me, it's just so overpowering. The last one I had was so much better, but they didn't have the flavor when I went back to Walmart, so probably should have went to somewhere else and just grabbed the same flavor, but I wanted to just give this one a shot. do not like the taste, but I am going to put it in here anyways and just tough it out because I bought it and I don't want to throw it out or waste it. So it is what it is. So I've got my energy drink now, and the first thing I get into, first thing in the day, typically while I'm making that energy drink, right after I, brush my teeth and all that stuff, the first thing I'm going to do is listen to worship music while I'm kind of doing these things because I want to get that in first thing in the morning. I've always found that my days have gone better. My mind has just been in a much better state when I kick it off with some worship music. So I'll literally pop out of bed as often as I can. I'll immediately go to my phone and put on a worship playlist, and then I will, just like start brushing my teeth, all that good stuff, then come down here and have it playing in the background while I make this drink. And now what I'm going to do is get into the word. So I'm going to sit down right here. We're going to crack open the Bible. And then after that, we're going to get into a personal development kind of book. So I like to try to read 2 books first thing in the morning. Like I said, firstly, it's usually the Bible, and then I'll get into something that usually relates to what I'm working on. So I've kind of cracked partway through multiple different books because I like to keep it as relevant as possible. So right now, the book I'm reading is a software book, and I'll get into that in a second, but I'm going to pray, read the word, and then we'll talk about what's next. Right now, we are making our way through the Old Testament, and I like to take some notes as I read because it really allows me to slow down and make sure that I'm understanding what it is I'm reading. A lot of times before, when I would read the Bible or read anything, but especially reading the Bible, I would kind of go into this blur where I'm thinking about other things, but I'm just reading the words. And then I would, let's say I wanted to read 3-4 pages. I would read 3-4 pages and then close it and be like, cool, checkbox, done, but didn't actually understand anything I just read. So making sure that I'm being more intentional about it and really taking my time has been super, super important lately. And part of what's helped me with that is just taking notes, writing down takeaways, highlighting things, and sometimes doing a much deeper dive into each individual chapter. I got a good, idea from my pastor, which was really making sure that I understand each chapter by writing down who, what, where, when, and why. So I have a full understanding, a full picture of what happened, to have full context. And sometimes that involves further research outside of just reading the chapter, so that I could answer all of those questions. But, I think it's important to have an emphasis on not just reading the word, but studying the word. And that's something that I've been trying to really be intentional with lately. And it's been good. It's been really, really good. I see reading the word as food for the soul, food for your spirit, whatever you want to call it. Just like how, we eat lunch and dinner, and, what happens when you don't eat, you start to get hungry, you start to get weak, you start to, maybe do things out of hunger that you wouldn't normally do if you were more satiated. Um, you start to get, short-minded. All of these negative things can come from not eating for a long period of time. And, I see, prayer, worship, reading the word, spending time with God, I see that as spiritual food for your body. And it's something that just needs to be done on a daily basis. Now, am I perfect with it? Absolutely not. But I try to eat every single day, or else the spirit, the soul gets hungry, and that's when things start to happen. I just got done reading. So what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to take a picture of what I read, because I have this men's group. This is a group maybe I'll explain a lot more about in the future, but it's an awesome group of men that are both focusing on, business and, Christian men as well. And what we do is we like to hold each other accountable in this little WhatsApp group chat. We actually meet twice a month. So every other week, every other Friday, we meet at my house. One thing that we do is go over, our faith, our fitness, our family, finances. We just try to help encourage each other, put together action plans, whatever it is we need to be just winning on every single front. And that group has been such a blessing. It's been so, so helpful to stay motivated to work through some things. We've seen a lot of growth in that group. men in there overcoming a bunch of different stuff. It's been huge. It's been huge. So one thing that we do, since we only meet twice a month, one thing that we do to hold each other accountable throughout the week, we've committed to certain action items like reading the word, spending time in worship, and maybe working out, those kind of things. We like to take pictures as we go throughout the day and post those pictures to the group so that people can kind of get motivation seeing that other people are doing it. So like all day you just see this group, guys are posting. People that haven't done anything for that day see the images come in and they want to post as well, so it kind of encourages them to get on it. So I'm gonna post right now that I just spent some time in the word. You can see here other guys are posting all the time. Software as a Service, that's the one I'm reading right now. It's by Dan Martell. If you don't know who he is, never heard of him, he's someone who has built and exited multiple software companies, and now he runs a company, I think it's called SaaS Academy, or Software as a Service Academy. So he helps software founders kind of grow and scale their business, and he recently released this book, and I've been reading it to see what takeaways I can get. Who knows, maybe that coaching program is one I join in the future. But yeah, right now I'm just seeing what I can learn from his book and seeing where I can apply those learnings to grow the software company. One thing I really like to do as I read is I like to put on some jazz music in the background. One, I've heard that classical music really helps you with focus and concentration, and I've personally found that when I put on like a nice slow jazz playlist, I can focus a lot better. And I like to put it on during certain times when I'm either doing some deep work upstairs at the office that I have upstairs, and then also when I'm just reading as well. I like to put it on because I want to do something that I call, well, not that I call, but something called habit stacking. And if you've read the book Atomic Habits, he talks a lot about this in there. And what's so powerful about it is it's easier, I guess if I were to summarize it, it's easier to get into certain mindsets and mind frames and, have, I guess, certain emotions come through, or, be consistent with something when you stack habits together. Yeah, the habit becomes more powerful when it's stacked, right? So for example, not only when you stack the habits, but when you also have locations that you specifically do certain things in, is what it talks about in the book. So for example, for me, I always read here. Like I'm always sitting right here in this same spot at the table, the back right corner, every single time when I read in the morning. So I guess, my body gets into a habit that when I come and when I sit down here, it's like, okay, it's reading time. My whole mindset kind of shifts and just gets prepared to start reading. And that's actually made it easier to read the word, along with playing just a Apple Music, jazz, chill kind of, I don't know if you can see it, like a jazz kind of playlist. Same thing, whenever I put on the playlist, because I've kind of made it a habit that when jazz is playing, I'm working, I'm focusing, I'm not on my phone, not scrolling Instagram, not doom scrolling TikTok or anything like that. It's been a lot easier. It's almost like when I hit play on the playlist, my mind automatically goes like focus mode, and it's just a lot easier for me to read. It's a lot easier for me to do deep work, and it kind of cuts out that itch to like pick up the phone and start scrolling, pick up the phone and start going on YouTube or something like that. Really, really good book on it, Atomic Habits. I actually finished that one not too long ago on Audible, because that's sometimes I listen to books on Audible when I'm in the gym, and that was one that I listened to not too long ago, and I've been just trying out some of the things that it talks about, and that was one of them, and it's helped. Let's jump into this book. I've got it on Kindle, got a bookshelf upstairs, but I've been trying to get most of my books on Kindle because obviously I keep buying more and more, and it's a lot easier if I can just have them all on the handy little device here. I might get a Kindle device in the future, not too sure, but I just haven't been able to justify it because I've got this thing. So yeah, might as well just use it, right? So I finished reading that for the morning, and I've got to say, I really like this book. What I like about, the Software as a Science book is it's just so practical. Of course, I like to take notes as I read, and there's always a ton of notes I can take about this book, because how some books that you read just super fluffy. You know, they're telling these long, blown out stories, and maybe they've got like one tidbit, one action item per chapter sometimes. But what I like about this book is it's just straight to the action items. Like, of course, there's stories and examples here and there, but it's just action item after action item after action item. This is a book where, and I'm not endorsed by them at all, not sponsored. Maybe they should sponsor me, but this is a book where you could read 2-3 pages and be like, okay, cool, I've got something to work on. This is a book where you can jump from chapter to chapter just based off of the chapter titles and what you're working on in your software company, and have some clear action items for what to do, whether it's sales, whether it's retention, and anything that you really need to work on. And one thing that I'm working on in the software company, as I said earlier, was retention. And what I am seeing right now is I need to do a much better job with my onboarding process. So that's probably something that we're going to be working on a little bit later today. What I read in the book was some really good tips on building, what does it say? Just building like guardrails to keep someone on the path to what they like to call first value. So you want to get your customers to that point of seeing value in your software as quickly as possible. I know it sounds like an obvious thing, but one thing that I don't have that I really want to implement is, and you see it in a lot of software companies, is that like tutorial little walkthrough. I feel like some people, when they get on the software, they can get a little lost. They can not know how to do things. And that's evidenced by people shooting me messages in the school community and asking me how to do things or what to do, or how to, get past certain, screens and stuff like that. So just really simplifying the software and putting like those little tutorial hint walkthroughs that you see with so many different companies. That's something that I've got to start building out. And that's what I'm gonna be working on this week for the most part. So now it is about 8 o'clock in the morning, and we are going to be heading to the gym for our workout. Gotta stay hydrated. Seatbelts on, cause safety first. One thing I really liked about this area was that the gym is so close by. We're literally like 2 kilometers from my house. For you Americans, it's like a mile. It's super, super close, and I can get here in like 5 minutes and get home in 5 minutes. So like I showed you guys before, it was around 8 o'clock ish when I was just getting ready, putting my jacket on, all that stuff. Now it's like 8:10, so nice and quick. We're going to go in there. We're going to do a workout. I'm not going to bring the camera in there just because I don't want to do that. I don't want to set up the camera and like film workouts and all that stuff. I am not a fitness influencer. I actually bought one of Jeff Nippard's kind of programs. I think I spent like $50 or something like that. Nothing crazy. Yeah, if you guys don't know who he is, he's like a YouTuber who focuses a lot on like science-based lifting. And I'm not focused on like getting super huge or anything. My main goal right now is getting lean and retaining as much muscle as I can. But I've watched a lot of his videos, like his content, and yeah, so I bought his program, and it's 3 days a week because that fits perfectly with my schedule. The other days I do 3 days a week at the gym, 3 days a week of cardio. So this has worked out really, really well. We're going to do a full body workout, and then I'm going to hit the sauna for about 10-15 minutes, stretch in there. I want to make sure I also retain a lot of flexibility. And then I'll see you guys on the way home to get to work. We just got done at the gym, headed home now. It was a good workout. The only thing that kind of sucked was that I couldn't use the sauna. I think the guy was like cleaning it. That was the first time I've ever seen that. Yeah, he was cleaning the sauna, and I have no idea how long that's going to take him. So last thing I'm going to do is just sit around and wait for him to be done cleaning the sauna to go in. So yeah, I just ended up leaving. Now I'm headed home to get ready for my meeting. So I've got a client where I do coaching for them. I coach their sales team, do call reviews, help them with their sales operations. all that fun stuff. And, we meet a few times a week. So what I'm going to do is head home, grab maybe some tea or coffee or something like that, fill up my water bottle. I like to get a good amount of water in every day. And then I will jump into that meeting and show you guys maybe some of that if there's some good tidbits in that sales meeting. Right now, we're working on the pitch, right? We've spent the last few months really nailing down the discovery process with the team, making sure that they're properly, finding a pain, getting that reason for change, discovering their desire, their goals, going through the solutions and creating big enough internal tension to allow them to want to move forward, to want to make a change in their lives. It is a real estate coaching program, so it's helping people create passive, not really passive, but just helping people create cash flow through real estate. So a lot of people, they'll come in with one property, two properties under their belt. Maybe they'll come in with 0 properties. And what they want to do is be able to quit their job, get to like 5 to 10K a month in just rental income. And that's what the program helps them do. It's been really, really awesome seeing the customers come through. We've had tons of people come in and, get like 10, 15, 20 units. One guy within 2 years of being in the program was able to go from 0 to 60 units, which is awesome to see, and make a really good amount of money monthly just off of his rental income. So that's the kind of transformation that company provides. And what we're helping them do is formulate their pitch a little bit better, formulate their pitch in a way that demonstrates how good the program actually is. A lot of times the sales team has been really, really focused on pitching features. So they're like pitching how many sessions you get, what the group calls look like, what's in the course. And one thing I've been trying to get across to them is people are there to buy the transformation. They're there to buy the lifestyle. They're there to buy the outcomes. So I'm trying to get the sales team to focus on pitching outcomes rather than features, right? Because like a lot of people don't care too much about all of the fancy features. They just want to know that they can trust you to help them get the outcome, right? So I want us to focus more on pitching to the person's outcome. And I believe that that's going to allow the sales team to make more sales. I was listening to an audiobook in the gym. Typically, I'll listen to like an audiobook, maybe a YouTube video or something like that. Sometimes music, but I try my best to get an audiobook in when I'm in the gym. And the one that I'm listening to right now, I think it's something about, what's it called again? I think it's like outsourced management. Oh yeah, high output management. That's what it's called. And it's all about managing teams. I mean, the name is pretty self-explanatory. And I guess the first point that the book was making was that there's really 2 ways that you can help your, people on your team make big impacts, or just like 2 ways that a manager can impact their outputs. And that's either through training or motivation. So yeah, just focusing on making sure that your team members either have the skill sets necessary, not either, but have both the skill sets necessary, and that they have the motivation to, produce really good results and do a really, really good job for the customers that your company serves. So the book started off talking about that. It was really, really good. And I'm looking forward to some good insights out of it. What are we going with today? Are we going with tea? Are we going with coffee? I'm feeling coffee. The coffee machine also needs to stay hydrated. Oh, that is super full. My wife likes these fancy things. Oh, I was about to press the button before putting this there. Let's not do that again. I actually bought this Nespresso machine because my wife was spending way too much money on Starbucks. Now, what I usually do when it comes to getting to work is I, either the night before or the first thing in the morning, I will write out kind of the tasks that I want to get done throughout the week, throughout, that day. If anything comes to mind, I just pop open my Apple Notes on my iPhone and type in what I need to get done. And then I try to pick only 1 or 2 things for the day. I find that when I have to work on 10 things, I try to bang them all out. It's just so much to focus on. You're hopping from thing to thing to thing. I try to pick, 1 or 2 of the most important things to get done that day. That way I can just jump in, bang it out and give it the real focus and attention it needs. And that's usually the highest income producing task, or, just the highest need thing, the thing that maybe something's on fire, maybe there's a glitch in the software that really needs attention. Maybe there's something that I really, really need to do. I'm going to, prioritize, obviously, and get to that. So, for example, when someone joins Rep Select, they're going to come across this homepage, and they've got a tab here that talks about the recommended jobs for them based on the career preferences they put, right? So we specialize in remote sales jobs. So people are going to put the type of niche they want to work in. They're going to want to put the on-track earnings they're looking for in a sales role. They're going to want to put if they want a remote sales role, which that's all we have right now, and a few other things, right? And we have these two tabs, recommended jobs and all jobs. And I want someone to be able to understand exactly what it is they're seeing here. It seems obvious, but at the same time, we want to make it stupid simple. So now when someone comes to the home screen, I just added this thing where they're going to get a preview that immediately highlights the recommended jobs and says, when this tab is selected, you'll be able to see which jobs we recommend based on your career preferences. And then a second one that will highlight that piece and will pretty much show them that they can change those preferences, right? So it says preferences can be changed at the bottom of your profile. If empty, please add or change your preferences. It's going to build a whole walkthrough. So we have a nice onboarding process for everyone that jumps on Rep Select for the first time, so they know exactly what they're doing. So we're about to jump into this meeting. This is actually a standing desk. All I got to do is press this button and I have it set to the highest setting. I like to burn some extra calories whenever I'm doing a meeting. What I'll do is I'll plop down this little treadmill here and I will just walk while I'm doing the meeting. Here go jumping in.
Buddy,
Ward.
how you feeling, Ward? Back action, bro. I am back.
That sounded so New York. I don't know why, but it's just like, how you feeling? How you feeling, Ward? I always get card out 5. That's been like, I've collected so many deals from this where someone's like, hey, I've just get waiting for the money. It's going to hit tonight. I'm 100% in. Let's do it. What I want to do is I want to first frame it from their benefit.
Okay, so I don't like to say yes in the first meeting because I like to think about it. That's how I think. Even if I go to TMX, I like to think about it. It's part of my.
Stop agreeing. Stop agreeing with them, because like as soon like all those little like yep, I understand, I get it, you're right. Like you're just selling them on the fact that they need to go think about it.
Okay. So how would I handle these?
Like I'm almost like dumbfounded that that's their response. I'm like, they're like, oh, I just need, I just want to these things I'm thinking about. I'm like, oh, okay. Like my tone, it's different. I'm just like, oh, okay. Yeah, when it comes down to it, Jeremy, do you feel like what we went through is exactly what you need to get to XYZ goal? Because at the end of the day, like that's the most important thing.
Yeah.
Right? Is it going to get you to results? And he says, yeah, I think it does. Okay, cool. So in your opinion, man, what's kind of coming up for you that's causing you to want to go away and have a think? Just so I can see where I can help, maybe provide you something that might give you some insight. Talk to me. And then let him answer that. And if he's like, I just like to go away and think, I'd be like, yeah, no problem, man. I totally get it. So that's when I would just kind of be like, I get it, understands, right? But like, yeah, I get it. I mean, just let me know, man, what elements are kind of popping up for you that's causing you to want to have to do that, though.
Okay.
And then, if they keep pushing, I just like to think, it's like to spend some time. I'll ask it again in a different way. I'll be like, for sure. Typically, when someone wants to think about it, doesn't happen often, but here and there, it's usually because they either want to think about like the service, which obviously we established like this is what you need, this is what's going to get you there, or maybe something with the timing, maybe something with the investment. What would you say it is for you? Right.
Got it. Okay.
And then let him answer that. And if he keeps pressing on that and be like, I just don't like, usually they'll say, I just don't like making decisions on the first go.
That's
like,
I've gotten that a lot. Yeah.
Right. Then maybe from there, I'll just pause. Again, all of this, you want to take it as super slow as possible so they don't feel like you're laying it on them. Like you don't want to respond quick here. You want to like let everything breathe.
Less is more.
Because
Yeah.
when you're jumping right in on the back of what they just said, the wall just shoots up.
Yeah.
So I'll probably just be like, oh, okay. Okay. Um, is that always how you've done things?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've always da da da. And then maybe I'll go the route of just being like, cool. I mean, listen, at the end of the day, I get that you want to spend some time thinking about it, but dude, can I give you some coaching on that? Can I just give you some honest coaching on that? Sure. And then maybe I'll just be like, listen, I've worked with a lot of people, spoken to a lot of them. And at the end of the day, most of the time when people say, I just want to sit down, I just want to think, it's because they're really just, they've got some nerves when it comes to getting started. And that makes sense. And it's totally okay. I get that. When you're jumping into something new, especially something that has the potential to really change your life and finally get you all the things you wanted for, like 6 years now, dude. Um, it's nerve wracking to make that leap. It's nerve wracking to jump, and it's totally normal, you know.
Yeah.
And what most people do in those situations is they want to like go away and think about it because they believe that that time of like sitting on it will somehow get rid of the nerves. I mean, is that what you're feeling right now? Yeah. Well, a lot of times people they think it's gonna like get rid of the nerves when in reality, like those nerves are just never gonna go away. Right. And it's not because, this is not something you should be doing. It's not because this is something you need to run away from. It's usually comes down to it's just something you care a lot about,
Yeah.
right? You care about this working out for you. And that's why you feel that pressure. You feel those nerves. You feel, maybe a little bit of fear, maybe a little bit of whatever it is when it comes to moving forward with this. And I want to give you a piece of advice here, man, because, at the end of the day, you said this is how you've always done things. And if we look at past, right, the way you've always done things has created the situation where you're at right now when it comes to real estate, which is
Yeah.
not where you want to be, right?
Right.
And the people that succeed with this are not the ones who necessarily don't have any fear, jump straight into things. It's not those people, right? Because at the end of the day, I've talked to so many people, none of them have had zero nerves. But the people that did win, people that did succeed, were the people that moved forward in spite of it, right?
Yep.
Everything in life is not about not feeling the feelings. It's about what do we do in spite of those feelings. So I want to encourage you, man. Like, if you truly believe like this is what's going to get you there, and if you're excited about finally just getting to the place where you can see 25K a month in cash flow with real estate, like we've helped so many other people do, dude, I just encourage you to move to just take that leap, dude, because consistent, like it just doing what you've done in the past is only going to produce more of the same. And I
Yep.
know you want more. I know you want to change. I know you want difference. So, dude, we're here for you every step of the way to make sure that this time is different. And this time will only be different if you take different actions going in. Let's not be the same, man. What do you say? And then see
So
what he responds.
I love Ty, I love these I love the responses that you give. I think every week like I'm always picking up something new, but I feel like I struggle just memorizing it when I'm like on the spot.
Meeting done, and we've been walking for about an hour. I don't know if you guys can actually see that. Going on about a mile and a half per hour, something like that. What's up, dude? Probably going to use some clips from that training for this video. Right now, I've really got to start responding to some of these. As for the content, I actually put out a poll on my community saying that new content was coming and what content did you guys want to see. And most people voted for appointment setting. So what we're going to do is probably do some kind of appointment setting training. I've already put out one so far since then, but I'm going to put out some more. Now it's about 1 o'clock, and that means it's time for lunch. Lunch is the exact same meal every single day. I do mix it up for dinner, but for lunch, I found it easiest to just eat the same thing. That way I can meal prep it out. I've tested a bunch of different things, and obviously looking for a good ratio between something that tastes good and obviously is a low amount of calories. And what I've come up with is the lunch I eat now, which is just steak and eggs. We usually have about 200 grams of that per day. Well, I weigh it 200 grams raw. And obviously it loses some of that once you cook it. But yeah, 200 grams raw, and then I usually have like 2 eggs with it. Sometimes I'll throw in a tuna steak as well, just for extra protein. I'd say the main thing that's been such a huge help when it's come to just a weight loss journey has been meticulously tracking everything. Now, I have just a Google sheet where I don't know how well you can see that, but I pretty much track every single day exactly how many calories I burn and exactly how many calories I eat. And what has been a huge help with that has been highballing and lowballing the numbers. So for example, when I look up and do some research on maybe how long running for an hour might burn, or not how long, how many calories running for an hour might burn, I will probably take that number and just say, hey, maybe I burned 1/4 of that or half of that. So I really, really underestimate and lowball how many calories I burn when I exercise. The gym, lifting weights, I don't even count that at all. So I don't count how many calories that I'm burning at the gym, just because weightlifting doesn't really burn that much calories. It's mostly the cardio that does it. I know you get that afterburn where you're burning all day long, but it's not that significant to count. So yeah, whatever I do cardio every single day, and whatever is like the Google answer for how much calories you burn, I take that number and I use a significantly less amount than that, because obviously those things tend to be wrong, and it's a lot worse if they're wrong in the highball area than if I'm just lowballing. So I lowball that. And then with the food what I eat, they've obviously got like the calorie amounts on packages, and if it doesn't say exactly how much, you look it up and see how much calories and stuff like that, or you see the grams and then you use that to find the calories. I highball that. So if something is like 400 calories, I might say, oh, this is 5. I might say this is 6. I just highball that number. That way I think I'm like in a 300 deficit for the day, and then maybe I'm probably actually in a 600 or 700 deficit. And what I've found is that helps me, just have some extra here and there. For example, that might help me, throw a little extra sauce, or, have a extra cheat meal here and there. Honestly, it's been a huge, huge, huge help. And I've calculated it down to the math. So I have like how much calories I eat, how much calories I burn. Then I have a automated formula that calculates the deficit amount, and then it takes the total deficit. And obviously you have to be in a 3,500 calorie deficit to burn a pound. So I have it automatically calculate the total deficit. So I think I'm at like 50, 60,000 deficit according to this or whatever. And then it divides that number by 3,500 to give me the amount of pounds I lost. So this thing, because of my highballing and lowballing, this thing says I've burned like 16, 17 pounds when I've actually dropped almost 30. Almost 40. There's been some days where I've severely highballed and severely lowballed. But it makes it easy for me, because when I don't want to be too close to the real number, and then I just start overdoing it by an accident and I'm not even realizing it. So obviously weighing myself every single morning, I can kind of tell as well. It's like, hey, over the next 2 weeks, I'm trending up or trending down. You want to make sure you're consistently trending down. And then there's weeks here and there where you kind of stagnate and then you break through a plateau. Been through it all. It's not obviously, so meticulous. The math is not so perfect that you lose 1/4 of a pound every single day. It's not like that, because there's so much water and the body fluctuates and salt and all this crazy stuff. But yeah, this system's been working for me. It's been working really, really well. It's exactly what I've been doing to lose the first 40-ish, 38, 40-ish. And it's what I'm going to do to lose the next 40-ish. So we'll see how it goes. This is my favorite pan for making eggs, because it is just like perfectly egg round shaped, and I really, really suck at frying eggs on the pan and not having them just splatter and look like garbage. But yeah, this helps me make like perfectly round eggs, and I like it. It's a little bit longer, obviously, if you're making multiple eggs, but hey, I only make like one or two, so works for me. And there it is. Sometimes I like to add a little bit of crispy onions as well. Really, all that's left to do is to get back to work. I've got one more meeting at 4 p.m. It is close to 2 right now. I usually eat, then, that usually takes me 20, 30 minutes, and then I'll chill for like, I don't know, another 20, 30 minutes, maybe watch a YouTube video or something like that. Now it's time to just get back to work, work till 4, get in my meeting, and then work a little bit till about usually 5, 6 o'clock, and then I will do my second workout for the day. Let's get to it. Wife already cooked for when I'm done. Nice. These are by far my favorite custom gloves. In another video, I will explain the significance behind them. So the evening workout on gym days, like I said before, will either be a run where I'll just go out for like a 5K run, or it's just going to be some boxing training in my garage. Today, we're just going to do some boxing training. So we're going to spend an hour training here till about 7:30. Once we're done that, go upstairs, we're going to eat some dinner. Then it's time to just wind down, relax, probably watch a movie with my wife, get into bed, say my prayers with her together. We like to pray together at night. It's been really, really fruitful since we started doing that. Then we start it all over, baby.